I get it standing at the dock, staring at a sleek little kayak and wondering if it's really worth the cash can feel like a gamble. You've probably heard the hype about best-in-class speed and effortless paddling, but you're also thinking about the hidden trade-offs. Will it be stable enough for a beginner? Can it handle a weekend trip with a few extra gearboxes? And will it actually feel light on the water instead of a heavyweight that drags you down? That hesitation is exactly why I wanted to break down the Wilderness Systems Pungo 105 and its matching paddle before you make a decision. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Pungo 105 falls into that sweet spot between a solo touring kayak and a compact day paddler. It's built on the same hull lineage that Wilderness uses across its lineup, which is known for a blend of stability and speed. In plain language, that means you get a boat that tracks straight without you having to constantly correct, and you don't feel like you're fighting every current. For someone who's been paddling a larger, slower model and wants something more nimble for shorter trips, the Pungo's easy-manage size can feel like a breath of fresh air. What really sets this kayak apart is the combination of its fiberglass composite blade and the 50/50 carbon fiberglass shaft on the paddle. When you're doing a few miles on a calm lake or tackling a light river run, that paddle translates your effort into forward motion with less flutter. In practice, I've seen people who usually get sore forearms after a couple of hours stay comfortable for longer stretches because the blade bites the water cleanly and the shaft doesn't twist under load. If you've ever felt the fatigue that comes from a cheap, wobbly paddle, this design is a noticeable upgrade. Now, who should actually consider the Pungo 105? If you're a solo paddler who likes to venture out on day trips, think sunrise fishing, a quick beach cleanup, or a leisurely paddle through a mangrove tunnel, this kayak checks the boxes. Its Phase 3 Air Pro seat is fully adjustable, so you can slide it forward or back to find the sweet spot for your leg length, and the ergonomic support helps you stay upright and relaxed even when you're sitting for a while. The seat also folds out of the way if you need to stash a larger backpack or a small cooler, which is handy for a midday picnic on the water. The Pungo also plays nicely with the rest of the Wilderness lineup. If you already own a Pungo or Punto model, the paddle is interchangeable, so you're not locked into a proprietary system. That's a practical benefit if you've been building a small collection of kayaks and want to keep accessories consistent. On the flip side, there are a few scenarios where the Pungo might not be the best fit. First, its compact length, about 10 feet, means you lose some cargo capacity compared to larger touring kayaks. If you plan on multi-day trips that require a tent, stove, and a full day's worth of supplies, you'll quickly find the storage compartments cramped. The hull, while stable, is tuned for speed rather than extreme load-bearing, so packing it to the brim can affect the glide you're promised. Second, the kayak is optimized for calm to moderate water conditions. On choppy seas or fast-moving whitewater, the best-in-class speed can feel a bit too responsive, making the boat twitchier than a heavier, more forgiving model. In those environments, a wider, deeper hull would give you the added buoyancy and dampening you need. One practical strength I've noticed is how quickly the Pungo gets into the water. The lightweight construction, thanks to the blend of fiberglass and carbon, means a single person can lift it off a trailer and launch from a beach without needing a dolly. That convenience factor matters a lot if you're a weekend warrior who doesn't have a dedicated launch ramp. Also, the paddle's blade shape cuts through the water with a slicing motion that reduces the splash and spray you typically get when paddling at higher speeds. For photographers trying to capture clean shots of wildlife without getting drenched, that's a real advantage. A downside that's easy to overlook until you actually load the kayak is the limited interior volume. The storage compartments are shallow, which means you'll need to use external dry bags strapped to the deck for bulkier items. That can affect the sleek aesthetic the Pungo offers, and you'll have to manage the extra gear while paddling, which can be a minor annoyance if you're not used to it. Additionally, while the paddle's carbon fiberglass shaft is strong, it's also a bit more delicate than a full metal shaft. If you're a hard hitter who tends to slam the paddle against the hull when you miss a stroke, you might see minor dents over time, something to keep in mind if you're looking for a completely indestructible piece of equipment. Another practical consideration is the price point. The Pungo 105, paired with